What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Protoss bringing you another Cosmonarchy cast, and I have the Christmas celebrations turned on because it's pretty close to Christmas. I did have them disabled for a while, but I figured I would re-enable them to get a little bit of festive flair going on. Oh, and also, Ascozi are here, and I added some dinky little ornaments. I'll probably prettify that a little bit. I just wanted to throw something up together so that the Ascozi were a little festive. Anyway, we have Doglived in the top left, working as the Ascozi player. He is going to be, looks like a mahogany color. Yeah, mahogany Ascozi. Look at that. And down in the bottom right, we have the Protoss, the yellow Protoss of Kasuga. I'm pretty sure it's Kasuga because, well, after this game was played, they talked about, like, balance or whatever, so I'm assuming there was something going on there. So it will be a Radix opener for Doglived. Not really a huge surprise. I think the function does require a little bit of extra moolah to make happen, and maybe it's a little bit cost prohibitive right now, but maybe we'll see something a little bit different later on. Interesting that Doglived already going for the Grandstand, which is a defensive structure, but it can also be utilitarian. And meanwhile, we have a Nexus first with a Warden backup. That's curious. So both players playing somewhat conservatively here, but I think that the greed, if you will call it, of Kasuga is going to be a little bit better. Although the double Warden and the placement of these structures, it does provide me some pain. Pronogo's pain, apparently. And Doglived, we're getting ready to drop his landlock. You'll note that it doesn't actually take that much money. So he waited for 400, probably out of instinct, because he previously played Protoss and he previously played Terran. The landlock does not require as many resources. But obviously, you probably want to team build it, because it takes a long time to make. All right, the Nexus is done here for a Protoss player. And I'm really excited about casting some AVP. And that's not Alien versus Predator. That's Ascozi versus Protoss. I like that kind of thing. It's very cool. Second Grandstand, so really committing to the defense here. I imagine this expansion will be an economic foothold that Doglived will use to vault towards some kind of Cosmoscope play, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? He did like the tirade earlier. And we will also see some, adjustments and improvements in general. You won't see any issues with the UI in this version of the game anymore for the Ascozi. Like, obviously, we are missing some wireframes, and some wireframes are incorrect, but I've fixed a bunch of issues, like when they build the landlock, it doesn't take over the entire part of the screen, right? So stuff like that. Anyway, we do indeed have a gauntlet on the way. That could be just, acquisitions for when the Cosmoscope goes down, if he's trying to rush up to air, or he could be adding Vicars to his composition through the Radix. Also, if he ends up building a function, he can get Intendants, which are pretty good splash damage, but probably limited utility versus the Protoss compositions you're likely to see. Though, again, Kasuga's gone very greedy. He went Gateway and Rogue Gallery with a Seedon in both bases, getting that coal from the Vespene. That's Vespene coal instead of what it would be otherwise, so. Yeah, Mass Rogue Gallery. I wonder what that's for. Is he going to go like Kabbalists, Vagrants? I'm not sure. That's Grandstand number 3 in the natural. And these are all... Oh, one of these is actually in a different loadout. So I actually don't know offhand. I believe this is the one that... Yeah, he's got a detector variant. So that's how you can check. There's the holdout variant, the detector variant, and the cannon variant, basically. So you're going to have the different ones depending on what he's got. And he's got a Chantry coming, which will repair things out of combat. You can see him switching things up. So that's the second detector, and then he puts this other one on cannon. Maybe he was getting run by the Kabbalists or something earlier, and they might have played a few games already. Chantry is up, so you'll see this healing pretty soon. Drakon not able to get too much done. He can actually move that... Oh, the Missionary actually has pretty good range. Yeah, I forgot about that. Range is very, very solid on the Chantry. Okay. Some Radixes are making the Vicars, indeed. Vicars have the ability to pull units towards them. You can even do that on your embedded deployed units as well. So if you end up like having an object that collapses completely, you can still pull it towards the Vicar, move it around with that, and that can be pretty helpful for pushes and stuff. We do have a function coming. We'll see what he wants to make with it. I think the object is very, very useful. So, and it doesn't require any specialized add-ons. There's the Cypher, though. So that means that mimics can come from the radix, which will be a nice force multiplier, as well as the option to consume corpses for heals. And then you can also go for the scepter from the function, which gives you access to some pretty useful scrapping of enemy corpses when they fall. They're debuffed, and when they die, they give you money. While also just being a generally reasonable, cost-efficient unit. Maybe not quite cost-efficient for DPS, but Escozy stuff is never going to be quite that good. So the detection is up. The detection is up, and so it does not look like that is going to work out whatsoever for Kasuga. He might even lose the witness. No, narrowly manages to escape with it. And, of course, things are going to start to heal up as well. The flavor for the text of the Chantry passive is that it's the Sermon Solve that gives you this healing while things remain peaceful. And right now it's contingent on a unit remaining peaceful, but maybe it should actually deactivate the heal entirely if there's if there's combat in the area. That might be like a more accurate way, but then we can still make the healing very, very good, strong, so that when it is not peaceful, or when it is actually peaceful, it works out. Hey, we're going to see some dyads be made. That's exciting. So dyads are fully functional now. They build faster than your other stuff, but they can also salvage things, which, yes, includes your own units. It doesn't include enemies, so Lundier will grieve, I'm sure. We've got a Crucible-empowered Nexus over here for Kasuga's third base, and the Aquifer coming. He wants that extra Vespene. He's got the Ardent making a Cantors. Their ginormous Santa hats are something to behold. And this composition isn't super good for sieging necessarily, but it should still be able to break these Wardens. Big concern here is going to be the Cantors when they start getting activated. Another one's about to finish. Spreading some of the DPS to structures is not really what Doglived wants here. He should be able to pop that Warden, but as the Cantors start firing their shots, he's actually going to start falling back. Vicars are sitting ducks in these situations. You absolutely need something to cover their retreat. As you can see, they do not move very quickly at all. And so it looks like they will be picked apart. These are fairly expensive biotic units. You don't really want to be losing them like this. Plus, remember that the economy definitely favoring our Protoss player. We spend a lot of time focusing on the Escozy player because, they're the new race. They're the hot shit. But it's definitely... it's right to look at what Kasuga's been doing. What we see out of the players in general is that, typically they get really lost in the sauce about what's going on in the enemy base, so to speak. But we have some pretty cool stuff happening over here for the Protoss player. And of course, on our screens, we have the Escozy, which is very cool in general. So big shout out there. If you guys want to support project development, get the race continued to develop quite quickly. You want to see this race be in action in competitive tournaments with, better graphics and all that other stuff. You can donate to project development on the Ko-fi page. It is a great way to support the project. You can also donate to specifically, you want, like when it's time to get Escozy show matches in, you can tell me which players you think would be really good at that. Obviously, Doglived is trying to be the representative here, top Escozy player he wants to be. But it would be great to see the... it would be very, very excellent to see, pro players come in and give the race a try, just to see what's up with them. So give me your feedback there. Feel free to. I'm interested. One subtle thing I did in a recent update is I corrected the shadows on everything because some of the shadows were facing the wrong angle, where I just used the shadows from the original game that some of these graphics came from. Impact of Power, Armageddon. There's a few of those types of, StarCraft clone games that at this point you have permission to use graphics for because they've become freeware in that sense, right? So abandonware, freeware, that sort of thing. Anyway, we have the Acantors coming out, we have the Dracodons, we have the Vagrants. This looks like a pretty scary army for the Escozy to go up against. They don't want to take these frontal engagements if they can help it, but there's no tech into Cosmoscope, so how are you going to deal with all the Acantors with everything being on the ground? The Scepters are not going to be heavy hitters enough by themselves, and that is a cracked open Escozy line. I don't think that the grandstands are going to be sufficient here. Big float as well for Doglived. There's a period of time he was not spending, and I don't know that it would have made much of a difference there, but it would have been really helpful to have a couple more units in the position. I can tell you that fighting Protoss is probably the hardest nightmare for Escozy right now. They don't have any armor rend or armor penetration buffs, which they probably do need in order for something like this to not be so scary and threatening. You have the missionaries doing 2x4 damage, but with no armor pen. Yeah, good luck trying to scratch the paint on the Dracodon, buddy. And as the Acantors lay siege to this position, it is decidedly not peaceful. I don't know. I mean, maybe the scepters will be enough, but no, GG is going to be called by Doglived, and that is GG in response from Kasuga. Feels like he just couldn't contain and contest. And that makes sense. He had a lot of production, but he did slip up there at the end of that position. So that's it. GG. We have a nice, tight 10-minute video. I don't typically upload videos that are on this shorter side, but I hope you guys appreciated the little look-see, the little insight into the Ascozi. I'll be catching you guys for more Cos Monarchy very soon. As mentioned, support the project via that coffee link in the description if you want to see some more action. And tell me who you think would be a really good pro to play the Ascozi. I don't know. I'm actually not sure. It's easy enough to just speculate, oh, they might like to play their main game race in StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2. They'll just come in and play that race here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's up. GG.